the mirror of time. When David moved into his new apartment, he was excited for a fresh start. The building was old, its creaking halls filled with stories, but he found charm in the faded wallpaper and the worn wooden floors. However, there was something unsettling about his new home. Almost every evening as he stepped into the dimly lit hallway, he would see her, the old woman. She stood there just outside his apartment, her frail figure clad in a tattered shawl. Her eyes, clouded and vacant, seemed to pierce through him. David would greet her with a polite nod, but she never responded. It was as if he were invisible to her. Days turned into weeks, and the sight of her became a part of his routine. Each encounter left him feeling uneasy, as though she carried an unspoken weight. What troubled him most was the gnawing sensation that she was watching him, studying him, waiting for something. One night, after a long day at work, David heard a soft knock on his door. Expecting a neighbor or a delivery, he opened it, only to find the old woman standing there, her face cast in shadows. In her hands, she clutched a tarnished mirror that glimmered at the faint light. "Look closer," she whispered, her voice a rasping echo that sent chills down his spine. Confused, David hesitated, but then reached for the mirror. As he lifted it to his face, he saw his reflection staring back, but it wasn't the vibrant young man he recognized. Instead, he saw a figure aged and decaying, skin pulled tight over hollow cheeks, eyes sunken and lifeless. Horror washed over him as he realized the reflection showed not just his future, but a fate he could feel creeping closer. Panic surged through him, and he turned to confront the old woman, but she was gone. The hallway lay empty, silent, except for the dull hum of the building settling. Heart-pounding, David looked back at the mirror, and it felt as if the air around him shifted. The image stared back, now grinning, a sinister smile spreading across the aged face, mocking him. In a rush of terror, he dropped the mirror, shattering it on the floor. But as the shards scattered, he felt a cold breeze brush against him, and the lights flickered ominously. David stumbled back, but the old woman reappeared in the doorway, her expression unchanged. "Look closer," she repeated, her voice now echoing in his mind. The broken pieces of the mirror reflected not just his aging face, but something darker, a world of decay and despair lurking just beneath the surface of his reality. Each shard pulsed with the echoes of time lost and choices made, dragging him into the depths of an unknown future. Desperately, he turned to flee, but the old woman stepped forward, her gaze piercing through him. "You cannot escape what you will become," she said, her voice wrapping around him like a shroud. In that moment, David realized that the mirror was not merely a reflection of his physical self. It was a portal to a fate he could no longer avoid. As he backed away, the old woman melted into the darkness, leaving him alone with the remnants of the mirror. And in the silence, he understood he was already trapped within the haunting grip of time, destined to become the aged reflection he had seen, forever searching for escape in the mirror's shards.